What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop conversation of, I was going to say MLB DFS, but it's not 100% MLB DFS. Of course, that's what we're starting. We're starting with baseball. Crunch time comes in 6:15 or so. We got Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth telling you what's going on weather-wise. We have the article. I'll drop the article. It is free, but he will update the article, not just in print, but he'll verbalize it if anything is changing, because, of course, weather is fluid. You get Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, talking baseball, taking you guys all the way up to lock. But we also have TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. He will be talking some basketball, taking you guys all the way up to lock. Bobby Gomes, $4 million winner, is not talking basketball. He's talking baseball with me. It is a television Tuesday, a 9-gamer. It was 10 games, but they moved the Miami and New York Mets game off the slate. So, lost the game. Well, they moved it because it changed times. I'm not sure exactly why. Probably weather, but I don't know the reason why that game changed times. But it is no longer in our world. 7:05, of course, first pitch. Bobby, Television Tuesday. I know you're excited about that, but how are things otherwise?
Everything's good. Television Tuesday. A lot of good television coming through. White Lotus, the finale.
No spoilers. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
No, it's very good. I don't know why you haven't had a chance to watch it.
I don't want to. If I tell you, it's gonna make. I've been in the hospital all weekend. Yes, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So
yeah. Hope everything's okay.
Me too. Thank you. Not for me, for the record, but yeah.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah. Oh, that can be tough. Yeah, it's a lot of good TV. White Lotus finale was very good. And then I think next week, what's it called, comes back, that zombie show on HBO.
Oh, like The Last of Us, based on the video game. Yeah.
Yeah, Righteous Gemstones is on I didn't watch this week's Righteous Gemstones. I was just like TV'd out after the White Lotus finale. So
yeah, I'm behind on that. So Studio is supposed to be pretty good on Apple. I haven't started watching that with Seth Rogen. There's a new John Hamm show starring in Apple. It's supposed to be good, but again, there's always good television. There's too much television. There's a lot of terrible television too. There's just a lot of options. But elite television is it's at a premium. It is available these days, and I look forward to catching up at some point. Did you like you like the finale of the White Lotus? I managed to avoid spoilers so far. So
yeah, it was really good. It was I'll try my best. It was definitely a surprise ending. So
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been a good season, and I'm looking forward to them potentially sticking the landing. All right, tonight's slate. We can go ahead and drop that first clue. Why not? We teased it for Television Tuesday. Let's drop the first clue for the people. First clue for Television Tuesday. You're not aware, Television Tuesday. It's just like Movie Monday. It's just like Film Friday. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, all the goods, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, the articles, the rankings, too much stuff to mention. You get a week of that. Just tell me what television show I'm talking about. Be the first to do so. The first clue is jewelry. And where do you give your answer? In the Discord channel, of course, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. One guess per clue drop. You are not allowed to MME when it comes to guesses, but fire off one guess per clue drop and get yourself a week free of RG Premium. I did say I would go ahead and drop Roth's article. A lot of that article actually has to do with the games happening now or in the afternoon. We have a lot of cold games tonight. Weather is certainly a thing this time of year. I just went ahead and drop that in chat. Feel free to take a look at that at your own leisure. 9 games. The slate to me, I kind of summarized today in the survey, Bobby. It's a 9-gamer. It's a lot of elite pitching, a lot of bad weather spots, and course. That's basically how I see the slate. You have some decision points there. We'll talk some pitchers first, obviously. I think pitching is something you should prioritize. I'm not messing with the nonsense. I'm going to go double barrel, however you define double barrel. I will get 2 of the good pitchers, 2 of the pitchers that are in the good bucket, and get myself, figure the offense out. And it's not that hard. It's actually not that hard to get pretty good offenses, even if you're paying up for, 2 of the better pitchers on the slate. But is that how you see it? There's one team that has a team total above 5. That's Milwaukee. Milwaukee on the road, taking on Kyle Freeland in Coors, locked in for 9 innings. Otherwise, in a dome, actually, the roof is open sometimes now in Arizona. I want to check and see if the roof is open in Arizona. It's not exactly scalding these days, or not, relatively speaking. In the desert, both teams there have a team total close to 5, 4.75. That's the D-backs and Baltimore, probably one of the more popular pivots away from Coors. And again, we'll talk about all the spectacular pitchers throwing baseballs tonight. Is that a fair assessment of the overview as far as the slate for you? Great pitching, not a lot of great hitting spots, and Coors.
Yeah, it's a lot of great pitching. I think I'll be more spread out at pitcher. I got 2 condensed last night. And then I'm probably going to I'll have a Milwaukee bat or a Coors bat on probably every team. I think my lean would be Milwaukee, just playing the Milwaukee side over Colorado, because Peralta's obviously pretty. I even think you consider Peralta in your main pool for pitching. But yeah, all the higher end guys. I have a feeling the two of us probably aren't MMEing tonight. I'm playing 6 teams. I think you're playing 1. So I'm going to be pretty, like, the majority of the pitchers that I'm going to be targeting are going to be higher end pitching. So I think we're in the same kind of boat.
Yeah, I'm playing just a few lineups. Yeah, I never run at 150. I shouldn't say never. Rarely will I run at 150 or any more than 10. But yeah, you know me, I mostly stick to the single entry, 3 entry max, smaller field type contest, the 88s on DK, the 121 on DK. I don't like, again, look, I guess it works for them. I don't want to complain about this all the time, but I always complain about it. You know, they have their $300,000 contest, $18 to enter, and it's $100K up top. And I just don't know how that's beneficial to everybody. It's beneficial to one person, but I don't know how that is something that's sustainable. But that's a conversation for another day. So I don't play that, but I guess it's going to sell out. People are going to play it. But you're joining that the single entry life, Bobby. That's typically not your wheelhouse.
No, in MLB, I play like 10 to 20 teams. Like, that's how I've kind of done it for the last 4 years. So
yeah,
tonight I'm only playing 6, but yeah, it's just kind of how it all broke down. I think Arizona, it's supposed to be like, it's going to start at like 90 degrees and drop to like 84 degrees. So there might be a chance that dome's open.
The chat's saying it's open. I'm trying to avoid the chat because I don't trust them to not drop spoilers. Just I don't trust one person. I don't just that one person that has to do it. But yeah, apparently it's going to be open tonight in Arizona. So that's of note.
Yeah, the bats for Arizona been pretty good to us early on in the season, for the Arizona Diamondbacks in general. But Baltimore last night, you wanted to have that stack, I would imagine, with Gunnar Henderson and Adley, Ryan O'Hearn. So, yeah, it should be an interesting game there. Obviously, Milwaukee, Colorado. It's Colorado. Their total's pretty much over everyone else's significantly. So, yeah, 5.4. The next is 4.9 for Tampa. So, like, is the Milwaukee total? I'm talking about the team total. So
5.27.
I have 5.4, Dean.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the RG lineups page, but yeah, there's different spots you're going to get different stuff. But yeah, depending on the line, and yeah, it's close enough. The point is still the point. You're making the same point.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I really like the Brewers. I think you're going to get condensed there. I'd play them probably differently. Like, I'd probably try to play 2-mans, or depending on like what's spitting out and optimizers. I haven't really ran our lineup HQ, but it would be interesting to see how many Milwaukee Brewers we're getting. I would imagine 3 at least. So yeah, I'll probably play at least 2 on every team. And then yeah, pitching. Cole Reagans versus the Twins. Lefty versus the Twins. Twins are going to struggle versus lefties. I think he's going to be very chalky, but I like him a good bit tonight. And he's like your pay down, but then we have all these aces up top. Zach Wheeler, Chris Sale, Dylan Cease. Like, they're all very good plays that I think you can definitely consider on the high end. Yeah, and it's mainly Baz and Peralta on the low end for me. So really 6 pitchers, I think. In total.
Yeah, that's as low as you'll go.
Yeah, because I'm not playing 150, but then you're throwing into the mix like a Jeffrey Springs or a Landon Rupp or Jamison Tyon, Charlie Morton, etc. So,
I don't think I would play Tyon if I'm running 150. I just think the opportunity cost is too high. I'm not saying he's going to get his face punched in necessarily, but I just, I can't. I guess like obviously he gets you a couple extra bats, that kind of thing. I just wouldn't do it personally, but I tend to prioritize like get me the better arms, and I'll just figure the bats out, which I don't know if that's correct or incorrect. We all our own kind of way of doing it. But and again, there's just so many good pitchers that two of these guys, I can't promise you which two, Bobby. I can't promise you which two among Wheeler and Cease and Sale and Framber and Castillo and Baz, Reagans. Two of them's going to put up like 30 at least on DK, right? Or 28, whatever. So the opportunity cost is high. And if Tyon puts up like 13 or 15, I guess he could put up 20. You can make it up with a homer, sure, that you paid for with the savings. But I'm just prioritizing the arms. So you think you would have a guy like Tyon if you're running 150? I don't think I would do that.
The Rangers team total is 3.5. Like,
the weather.
Yeah.
It's 35 degrees.
Yeah, it's 35 degrees there. Tyon doesn't get crushed. His K rate stinks.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Maybe I'm wrong in that assessment. Maybe just because the ballpark conditions would point me to. I could see playing Tyon. I take that back. My apologies. Yeah. Continue.
He's not a priority for what it's worth. Like we said, like those lower end guys. You kind of said it since the top of the show. We're trying to pay up. There's multiple studs in the slate we can pay for. Zach Wheeler being just fantastic. For me, like Wheeler, Sale, Reagans, Cease, Freddie Peralta, you could throw in there. I don't think I'm going to get too much Peralta, but the K rates are over 28%. So it's like they're all very good pitchers. And then Shane Baz, he's looked good. He is coming off Tommy John though, right, Baz? Either way. Like I'm perfectly
he's always fine. Yeah, he's been injured in and out in Tampa. Notoriously, he's kind of babies their guys. So I don't know how much they would push him, but yeah, I think when he's out there, he should be pretty good. It's kind of baked into his price, right? At 8.6, I guess a little bit baked in. It's cheaper than Wheeler, cheaper than Cease and Sale and Valdez. But they are, our projections as far as pitches is 91, so not really giving him a big hit. So. I think he's fine. He's not my favorite amongst that grouping, but of course he should be in your pool. We're not afraid of the Angels, obviously. Go ahead.
What guys on the high end are you out on? Because there's Valdez, Lopez, Nick Lodolo, guys I'm currently not playing, and they're obviously good pitchers, but just with the higher end stuff being so good, they kind of get squeezed. So I'm not really getting to any of those guys.
I'm kind of out on Lopez. I don't know if we're going to count Pablo Lopez on the higher end. He's sort of on the bubble there at 8K. Yeah. I don't see myself getting to him. Lopez just kind of I just don't see him being top of the podium. He could be on the podium. I guess he can get third amongst these elite pitchers or so. He's a good pitcher, obviously, but when compared to everybody else, I got Sale and Cease and Reagans and Wheeler, and I do have Peralta ahead of him. You're getting a savings there as well. Framber Valdez, I would have ahead of him as well. Luis Castillo is the interesting case, and I'm curious to get your thoughts because he's a veteran, 32. He's falling off a little bit. The velocity's falling off. The Ks are falling off. They didn't make the last season 24%. But pretty dramatic splits, and he's facing a Houston team that we're going to be talking about this pretty much all season long. The absence of Tucker, they didn't do a good job replacing him with the lefty, right? The only lefty amongst their regulars now is the best hitter in their lineup, and Yordan Alvarez. But Castillo, with dating back to last season, his strikeouts 28.8% versus righties. That's awesome. So that's basically what he's going to see. And against the lefty. And again, I think Yordan Alvarez makes for a really, really good one-off. I don't know if I'm and the ballpark stinks too, of course, in Seattle, one of the worst hitting ballparks in baseball, especially for homers. His strikeouts are under 20% versus lefties. His ISO 237, his WOBA almost 370. Those are all too high, but again, he's only going to see one lefty. He might see Caratini, right? I guess that's their backup catcher who's a switch hitter. We don't have the lineup just yet, but you figure Houston would have found I know they lost Tucker, but like they should have found a lefty somewhere to throw in there, or like a Jock Peterson, somebody to kind of get him a little bit left-handed. But that's something we're going to be picking on. And Castillo's got pretty dramatic splits, but I don't really, this is not elite Luis Castillo anymore. I'm curious your thoughts on him. But again, there's a benefactor to throwing, being a right-handed specialist against righties when you're basically seeing all righties in a great ballpark. So I'm a little conflicted in him because on paper, it feels like he probably is not the guy that can be the top pitcher, but I think he can be against his Houston team, assuming he can dodge Jordan.
Yeah, so the situation for me is really Castillo at this point. I don't love him, and the Houston offense stinks. So I guess you can go either way. He's not making my pool. If he's going to be low owned and you want to go overweight on him, that's fine. But for me, he's currently a cut. I do think Jordan likely takes him deep tonight, being the lone lefty there. I know he's been solid versus righties. The K rate is 28%. You are going to get him lower owned, I would imagine, than these other guys. So maybe taking the chance at 8.5 is fine in tournaments. It's just not something I'm considering.
Let's pull up the ownership what we have right now currently on DK, and I got to be honest, a little surprised by it. And it's just I don't really know where it's so jumbled, and like you kind of asked me, and when I wrote in the survey today, I compared it to some people say my best friend so and so, and my best friend this, my best friend that. And it's like 3 or 4 different names. It's like, dude, how many best friends? Do you understand how this works? How many best friends do you have? It's like, well, my favorite pitcher on this slate is 4 guys. I don't know don't make me choose because they're all really, really good. We have Reagan's right now at 29%, Chris Sale at 28%. And Sale, we haven't seen an elite Sale game this year. Of course, he's faced the Dodgers and somebody else that was pretty good too. I forgot the other team. He's faced 2 tough opponents, the Dodgers and somebody else that was pretty tough. And tonight he gets Philly, another tough opponent. But Sale, historically, is just dominant versus lefties. 2 best hitters on Philadelphia are, from the left-hand side, Schwarber and Harper. Sale last year coming off a Triple Crown season where he had the most strikeouts, the most wins, the lowest ERA, the lowest Sierra, the highest K percentage. I'm kind of surprised he's the second most popular according to, but again, it's sort of congested. And then the one, Peralta, 26%. People just don't like to throw pitchers in cores. But Peralta's pretty good. DK is also giving you a discount. Like he would not be 7-8 if he was in Milwaukee, I imagine. They're tempting you. Like he's not a 7-8 pitcher, right? Peralta. And this Colorado offense, you got to hit the ball for the elevation to matter. And it's not a very good offense. Doyle, by the way, leading off with Tovar, McMahon, Bryant, Farmer, Taglia. The rookie, Zach Veen, this is his MLB debut. My understanding is he's got speed. He's got wheels, but I don't know the bat's very good. Also, they're without their top catcher, Stallings, doing the catching with Moniak batting ninth. Yeah, their catcher, I'm forgetting the guy's name, who's had a pretty good season to start off the year, is basically caught or played first base, essentially Goodman, every single game this year. He's not playing tonight, so not the best Colorado iteration. How do you feel about Chalk Peralta in cores?
It should be something you're trying to fade, but I'm playing a lot of Reagans anyways, so it depends on how much Reagans I'm getting, and he's kind of in that price range. At 8.1, Peralta's 7.8. Like, are people going to play them together? I would imagine if they're both that chalky. I just don't think Peralta is going to be as chalky as it's showing. I think people are going to get to Sale, Whaler, Cease, Baz. So, yeah, for me, I'm fine with chalk Peralta, but I just don't. I think our ownership's likely incorrect there.
Obviously, the closer we get to lock, the more refined it gets. Just kind of working our way down as far as ownership. Yeah, Reagan's the most popular, 29%. You're getting a discount for, a pretty elite arm, 8.1K on DK. Sale, again, the second most popular right now, 28%. This, will change, I think, a little bit. It'll get tinkered with as we close in on lock. Next up, as far as ownership, is Peralta. Then Wheeler, 18%, taking on Atlanta. That Atlanta offense, of course, has been pretty cool to start the season, but they are back in Atlanta. Baz, you mentioned, at 16%. Cease, 15%. We know the deal. Tough ballpark these days in Sacramento. Front half of that lineup for Sacramento, for the Athletics, really, really good. It falls off pretty quickly. Framber Valdez is just, he's a quality start machine. Really usable on FanDuel. He's fine on DK. We mentioned Castillo. Castillo at 13%. It's kind of interesting. And then that's it as far as double-digit ownership. Group getting 8%. Lopez 8%. Tyon, you mentioned at 6%. Lodolo 5%. Good ballpark in San Fran. Charlie Martin's had his K stuff working this year, but also he's going to be giving up some runs. But he's in that game in Arizona, which has one of the best hitting environments on the entire slate with the roof open in Arizona. By the way, I did check. That is confirmed. The roof is open today. Just for tomorrow, the roof is going to be closed. The 12:40 game, the roof will be closed. Just a heads up. It's DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports. We care about today and today only, but just a heads up. There you go. Tomorrow, the roof will be closed because I imagine in the afternoon, it's probably like 100 or so. I don't know. And then they said, let's give the people some AC. Show a little bit of mercy on whoever's showing up these days for the games at this ridiculous hour, ridiculous temperature. Any mention of you mentioned Springs. Nobody's going to play Springs.
Yeah, no one's going to play Springs, and I like Tampa. Yeah, no one's going to play Springs. Shoot. First, the Padres. I just don't want to play Athletics pretty much in that park like pitchers. The back end of that San Diego order is absolutely atrocious.
It's terrible.
Thanks for my 3 zeros last night. Sheets. Who were the other ones?
Jason Hayward played. He got a single actually.
Good luck.
Oh, you played the catcher, the Elias Diaz.
You played Diaz. Yeah, I thought people would my thought process was I thought people would try to move off after Merrill was removed last night. People would kind of get off them. So I wanted to get overweight on them. And then other than Tatis really hitting that ball over the roof and left, they weren't great. Machado had a good hitting game, but more the top of the order. Cronenworth got there. But
there wasn't a lot of hitting at all last night. I don't want to, this isn't a victory lap or anything, but I did win the $20, the 3-entry max $20 last night. I made it really quickly. I was not, I didn't put a ton of research, but I was like, well, I just stacked that game. So I played San Diego and the Athletics. I hit on the two homer guys.
So you didn't play anyone after Soderstrom on that Athletics.
No, I think I had 3 Athletics that maybe, he's the one that got there. Obviously, he was a separator. And then the 2 of the Hunter Green and somebody else pitched really well last night that I'm forgetting the name. Justin Steele. Justin Steele had a big game. But there just wasn't a lot of runs. And that's the thing. Sometimes you need a bunch of points. Sometimes it's just if nobody homers, if 3 guys homer, okay. If there's not, and I feel like today could be similar. We'll see. There's not a lot of amazing hitting spots. We'll talk about our tiers soon enough. But we'll get there. Anything else I've noticed as far as pitchers before we start talking about our tiers?
As far as pitchers, no, I think we pretty much covered it. If I had to rank them currently, it would be Chris Sale, Cole Ray. Well, I put Reagan's ahead of Sale. It'd be Reagan, Sale. Reagan, Sale, Wheeler, Baz, Peralta, Cease for me currently. If I had to rank my favorite 6.
They're requesting. I don't know if this is not my wheelhouse, Bobby. I'd put them all in the 5. We'll talk about our category in a second. Best hot sauce. Do you have any hot sauce hot takes? Are you a hot sauce guy?
Tabasco, just regular Tabasco.
Okay, that feels kind of mid. I don't just as somebody on the peripheral. I don't use any of this stuff, but that feels like that would be a 3.
Do you think it's like child abuse if your kid swears to give him Tabasco sauce?
This sounds oddly. It's an oddly specific question you're asking, Bobby. I think it's odd, and maybe it's just me. I wouldn't think a child or children supposed to have Tabasco sauce or hot sauce at like 1 or 2.
Friend, it's better than soap, right? Like I don't know what's in the soap, or pepper.
You want to. I guess that's forming their palate at a young. I don't know, but I'm not the guy to ask. I don't have any kids. I'm Uncle Buck. I couldn't tell you. The chat will let you know. We'll set a poll. Is it okay to give your 3-year-old?
Yeah, almost 3.
What did he want it just like as a shot, or was he putting it on something?
No, he was swearing, and she wanted to put soap in his mouth.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I thought he was swearing. He was asking for it. Oh, I see what you're saying. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Allegedly, this is just a conversation.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know how to, this is not my wheelhouse, man. I just stay out of it. I don't tell people how to parent. But all right. Anything else as far as pitchers, or shall we move on?
That's it, Dean. That's it.
Yeah. But they're asking the power rank. I can't do the power rankings of hot sauce, but I will do a power ranking in a second. Before we do that, I do want to give the people a second clue because we have no winners on the first clue. The first clue is not enough. It's not Survivor or Pawn Stars or The Crown, which that was a good guess, The Crown. It's not Righteous Gemstones either. It's another really good guess there in the chat, or Real Housewives. The second clue is Reptile. Reptile. Again, jump in the Discord channel. Let me know what today's Television Tuesday is, and you get to what TV show. What TV show am I talking about? You get a week free of RG Premium. Speaking of things that are free, the battle for the jacket, it's heating up. The green jacket in Augusta. No better place to sweat that action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. This year's first major, DraftKings, they're giving all customers a shot to play for free for the $1 million top prize with your next $10 deposit on DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. RG, RotoGrinders, we're partnering with them, giving away, we're going to give you a chance to use Lineup HQ. We always show up the Lineup HQ tool. The product for PGA specifically is going to be free. Not just for Thursday to make your Thursday lineups, or right now, free the entire week. I know they have showdown stuff Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All you need to do is sign up, create an RG account, which is also free. The links are in the description. Bobby, we were talking about this pre-show. The Masters, I did see, I was reading Noto stuff as far as scores and odds. I know SDL Cards is on top of it. Cards is going through it, though, because it's tax season, which reminds me. Got to do that. We got the week or so to throw some money at the government. You were very, very close. You're very close. Top 3, top 5 in the single entry 100 last year. Are we going to take it down this year? Are we going to call the shots?
No, it's 100. It's the $100. I just threw something in last year and it ended up finishing like 4th in the $100 milli.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, I got very lucky. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna. I haven't played much golf, and I love golf. I just don't have the time. So, yeah, I think it's a great DFS sport.
Did my camera freeze up? I had an issue pre-show as well, but that's the way I'm seeing it. At least I'm paused and looking frumpy, but that's okay. Hopefully we're going to power through, and this is going to change momentarily. I don't know why. I never really have internet issues, but we will figure that out as we go. If not, you just got, there we go. I guess I'm back. Taking a peek here at the Discord channel. It's not Lizard Lick Towing, although I've seen that show before. It's a disaster. Pretty sure it's fake. I'm not sure, but it might. At least some of the things are staged where people get their. Are those the worst people in the world? And they're just doing a job, but like tow companies. Oh man, the worst. I did see a thing where
the one like near my in South Boston, the people look like the Hills Have Eyes people that are working it.
It's nobody likes it, and like you catch them in the middle, and they're like, it's already on. Like, there's nothing I can do. Well, you can take it off. I'm right here. Nothing we can do.
We have street cleaning like every 2 weeks. It's the most unreasonable situation that there is. Like, there's no reason for it. So like, they're pretty much towing you every other week here. And I'm not like I'm getting towed, but there's a potential to be towed. So you kind of have to duck it.
Yeah.
I'm always moving my car around, which stinks because of the traffic with the Celtics and the Bruins.
You need the Bruins and the Celtics to not make the playoffs, but unfortunately,
the Celtics are making the playoffs for sure.
Yeah,
Bruins, they're done.
Yeah, well, you gave away Marchand. You guys are moving on to next season. Okay. Anything else of note? We do. Looks like we have a winner on 2 clues. Look at that. We'll play it out. We'll play it out as far as the rest of the clues, but we do have a winner in the Discord. We'll talk about it soon enough. But I do want to introduce today's tier rankings, Bobby. This is something that I did. I actually did it last week. I had it good to go because there was more timing last week. Unfortunately, we lost the great Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer was in a lot of good movies. So I did a power ranking of Val Kilmer movies. Let me know in chat your favorite Val Kilmer movie, Bobby. Are you aware of Val Kilmer? Do you have a favorite Val Kilmer movie?
Top Gun.
Goose, yeah. No. Iceman. Goose is Anthony Edwards, of course. But not that Anthony Edwards, the actor.
Batman Forever didn't make this list.
What's that? Well, you can't have 2 Top Guns on there, and he's in one scene in Top Gun Maverick.
I'm saying Batman Forever.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, it did not. And for the record, officially, I do want to say, only one bad movie on this list. Even 4 is good. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, producer Steve actually already threw it up there for the people. We'll see what the chat has to say. But yeah, he was of course in Top Gun. Heat, probably the best heist movie of all time. I think Heat's the best heist movie ever. I think you can tell me. Maybe we'll do heist movies another day. Who knows? Tombstone. He was Doc Holliday. He was incredible in that. The Doors, where he was Jim Morrison. He was like he just completely embodied Jim Morrison. I believe he actually did the singing as well. The thing with the Doors is he probably was it was a good movie. It was a fine movie. It wasn't amazing, but the acting actually was probably better than the actual movie as a whole. And then the one movie on the bottom, we had to put one bad movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau, with Marlon Brando. It's historically awful. It's so bad they made a documentary about it, about how terrible it is. Now, I've never seen it, but I want to see it. It's on the list, called Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. It's just considered to be one of the biggest disasters, as far as big budget wise, that have been made in the last so many years. Yeah, so that is the worst movie. Top Gun's in the 2 spot, if you didn't see, Bobby. Heat, Top Gun, Tombstone, where he played Doc Holliday. Also in the list that I considered, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a good movie nobody really talks about. You mentioned Batman Forever. Is that good, or you just remember him in it? I remember Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Is that actually good?
It was like, I remember going to see it in theaters, and I was like younger, and it was very like
cartoonish.
I don't know. It was cartoonish. It was yeah. It was all right. It was all right. You haven't seen it since?
40% from the critics. This is wild. 40% from the critics. Typically, these kind of movies are more like the public tends to like them more. 33% from the public.
They say it's the worst Batman, right?
It might be. No, the Clooney one might be the worst. The Clooney one's bad too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. No Real Genius. I've never seen Real Genius. I'm aware that's a thing. And also no True Romance, which is an excellent movie. It just couldn't make the board. But if you've ever seen True Romance, that is also a spectacular movie that I would recommend. Yeah, Brian. The Doors was good. I didn't mean to knock The Doors. I thought The Doors was really, really good, but just probably not as good an overall movie as Tombstone. TJ says Clooney, and this is kind of his wheelhouse. Clooney is one of the worst. Is the worst, but it's so bad it's kind of fun. Yeah, I think that's the one with Arnold as Iceman. I'm pretty sure. No.
Yeah, it has to be pretty close. Mr. Freeze. Yeah. I liked in Forever. They introduced Robin and stuff they don't really do in other Batman movies.
I'm getting Mr. Freeze and Iceman confused because I guess that's sort of happens when we're talking about Top Gun and Batman Forever. we will get back on track and we will rank our teams. We'll throw them in tiers. Again, not a lot of amazing offenses, not a lot of great spots as far as hitting. We'll talk about here. The very first game on the board here, Bobby, it's Kyle Hendricks taking on Shane Baz. You know, we like this ballpark here in Tampa. 8.5 is the total. Tampa is a pretty heavy favorite. They have one of the bigger totals on the board. They are home, so they lose the 9th if they happen to be ahead. There's some cheap stuff in here as well. Aranda seems too cheap. On FanDuel, Caminero is way too cheap. I think Lau is too cheap. But Kyle Hendricks is he's somebody we like picking on. And then on a slate with a bunch of good pitchers, Kyle Hendricks certainly stands out as like, well, wait a second, you don't belong. Your thoughts as far as Tampa and the Angels?
Put the Angels in the doors because of Mike Trout, Soler. That's fine for them. In terms of the Rays, I like the Rays a good bit. We didn't do a lot of top tier teams last week. We can put the Tampa Bay Rays up top in Heat. Let's put Tampa Bay in Heat. I think the one team that we had last week was Tampa Bay in the top spot, and they were optimal. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would put them as well, I believe. I feel pretty good about Tampa. And they're also pretty cheap. On FanDuel, like Diaz is really, really cheap. Caminero, I think Caminero is like the first player you plug in your team if you're playing cash. He's just so cheap over there. I like Aranda a good bit. Kind of a tough sticking point when it comes to just picking one first baseman on DK. We'll talk about Rhys Hoskins, I'm sure, but Aranda is somebody that's very much in play. You know, and Hendricks, just no strikeouts, 15% strikeouts last season. Let me include current and last season. It's not going to change a lot, but get a bigger sample on the plate IQ. But yeah, 15.3%. Really vulnerable versus lefties. 370 WOBA, 179 as far as the ISO, and just he's got a skill. He will get some ground balls, so we'll give him that. But otherwise, Kyle Hendricks is certainly not somebody we're afraid of. Let's move on to game number 2. The Phillies and the Braves. You know, 2 historically good offenses, but 2 really, really good pitchers, 2 elite pitchers. Wheeler and Sale, 7 total. It's 57 degrees there in Atlanta, but the wind is blowing out. But again, it's obviously not, Hotlanta is not living up to its name. We'll wait a couple months as the season progresses. I don't think we have data on this, right? No data on Weather Edge, unfortunately, but you know, the total is pointing in the right direction, and also the pitchers, 7. We're looking at 7, despite the fact these are 2, especially Philadelphia. I know Atlanta is kind of scuffled. You know, they're without Acuna, obviously, is a big hit. But where are we throwing these offenses? The Phillies and the Braves.
You put them both in the doors. This is a catch-me-up game. Really not going to have any of either of these teams going to be targeting the pitching. So, yeah, you can put them both in the doors. Obviously, you have good bats on both sides, but that's why I didn't put them in the island of Dr. Moreau.
Have you seen that by chance? I'm assuming you haven't. I don't think anybody did.
I haven't seen the doors. Dude, I haven't seen a lot of these Val Kilmer movies except Top Gun, to be honest.
Bobby, you would love Heat.
I've heard of Heat. Like, I feel like I've seen it, like parts of it, but I haven't finished it. Maybe I have. I don't know.
De Niro. You don't. It's De Niro and Pacino in their prime.
Yeah, maybe. I'm
telling you, you got it. And Kilmer's in it. It's great. It's a lot of movies try to copy it. I'll just say that. But if you've never seen it before, it's worth it. Check back with me. Circle back. But put Heat in one of your queues.
I will.
Money back guaranteed. If you got to pay for it. If you don't like it, I'll Venmo you. I'll PayPal you the $3 or whatever it costs. I don't know, $4. All right. I agree with you on Philadelphia and Atlanta. And this is also the conversation of like us only playing so many lineups. If we're playing 100, we're playing 150, sure. Eventually you're going to say, screw it. I'm going to play some really good hitters. I don't care what the matchup is. But if I'm only playing like 5 lineups, I can't see myself getting the Philly or Atlanta. I don't want to actively pick on Wheeler and Sale, but goofy baseball stuff happens all the time. You can't necessarily predict, but a fair assumption is that the Wheeler and Sale are going to have a bit of a pitcher's duel. Let's talk about the Twins and the Royals as the third clue for Tournament Tuesday is scrolling. That is Moocher. Moocher is the third clue. And again, we already have a winner. But we're playing enough for funsies. Twins, Royals, 7.5 total. KC, almost a 4-team total. Cole Reagan's taking on Pablo Lopez. The Royals are the favorite here. No Wallner in this lineup. It was interesting to see. I'm always curious to see Reagan's. We know he's historically reverse splitsy as a lefty, so some teams will just load up with a bunch of righties, and we know that's where you get the upside as far as strikeouts. They did include a couple lefties, Julien and Larnack, but Wallner did not start, for the record. Yeah, and I guess the switch hitters are going to hit from the right-hand side. That's just traditionally how that works. Rarely, very, very rarely do you see somebody take advantage of a reverse splits pitcher and like a switch hitter hit like left on left or right on right. Famously, I shouldn't say famously, but I just remember Shane Victorino did that left on left for somebody. I don't recall who it was many years ago. But yeah, Lopez, Reagan's, Twins, Royals. What do you got?
Minnesota and the island of Moreau. Not getting any Minnesota. Gonna have a lot of Cole Reagans. Just think it's a good spot for him, and don't love the Minnesota bats tonight, just based on the order and basically everything that you just kind of threw out there. And then KC's in the doors for me. You can always play Witt, Salvatore Perez, but I'm not getting a ton of those guys tonight either. So yeah, a lot of lower end bats currently.
Texas and the Cubs, 8 total. Patrick Corbin. Our old friend Patrick Corbin's back. We love it. Man, if this was like any sort of normal weather, the Cubs would be so chalky. It is an 8 total here in Wrigley. Pulling up weather reds. Let me give it a refresh just in case it's changed here. It's pretty dramatic. Right, yes, 72 previous games. 72 previous games in Chicago with similar weather. That's wind blowing in at 10 miles per hour from right center, 35 degrees as far as the temp, 22 as far as the dew. In 72 previous games, nothing to do with who was playing, but just that specific weather. Homers took a hit at negative 48%. They're cut in half, essentially. Runs are cut at 7.4%, ERA dipping at 15.4%. So can the Cubs overcome? And if they can, Patrick Corbin's the kind of guy that would help them get there. I don't think the Cubs are going to be played. I think they're really interesting. I don't know what to do with the Cubs. I do think they're a really interesting stack. And, Patrick Corbin, it's funny. By the way, he's got to be making the league minimum there. He get that monster contract, and he just must still love pitching, and good for him. He's sticking around, and, he made his millions. And now I think he's just making the league minimum as like an invitee. And now all of a sudden he's starting the bigs in Chicago. Lots of power righties here. What are we doing? Do we like Chicago? You can talk about Texas as well.
So for Chicago, I think Top Gun's perfect. I don't love Chicago as a stack. If you won with Chicago last night, you deserve to win with their 7 runs that they put up in that weather. But for me, personally, I would have them in Tombstone. I just think that you need, because of the lack of offense that we have, versus like you got to put them in Top Gun just for that reason. So guys like Justin Turner, Nico Horner, Ian Happ, I think they make sense to have in your lineups. Pete Grow Armstrong has a good amount of steal equity. He's been playing well. Matt Shaw, Seiya Suzuki. So I'd put the Cubs in Top Gun. Texas is going down on the doors for me. I'm not playing a ton of Texas. Yeah, that's pretty much how I have these two teams.
Several people in the chat talking about the stolen bases. Patrick Corbin, historically, lefty pitchers are really, really good at holding on runners. That's the general rule.
He's not
good. He's definitely the exception to the rule. Last 2 seasons, he's given up 52 stolen bases, which seems like a lot because that is a lot. 52 is that's too many. That's too many stolen bases. I think if I'm reading this correctly, no, never mind. I thought that was going to say how many attempts. I wanted to say how many attempts, but just 52 is too many stolen bases. And I think you can homer hunt here if you pull up the plate IQ stuff. And again, I know the power, the ballpark is not. You really got to hit. You got to get a hold of one, right? It's you got to hit one that would typically be. It's more of a math problem for Roth. I don't know, in row 7 or something like that. You got to earn it. But Suzuki's got great power versus righties. Tucker, left on left, can smash. Corbin, dating back to last season, a 205. When you're in the 2s, as far as ISO, that is trouble. And as far as the WOBA, almost 400, 377. It's rough. And I know he was pitching in Washington, which was more of a pitcher's ballpark. I don't know if I'm going to full on stack, but I do like the idea of homer hunting. And Happ, Suzuki, Tucker, Shore.
The steal upside is huge if you think about it, because you're going to get 5 points, and there's Horner will run, Armstrong will run, Swanson will run. So
I think Tucker can run too, right?
I think Tucker can run a little bit. Like I didn't want to play the Cubs in this weather, but I think I think you can 5-man the Cubs tonight.
There's also historical data that talks about players going into their free agency year tend to run more. They tend to get more stolen bases, try to pad up those stolen bases. Once they get paid, enough of that. But Tucker going into his free agency season, he's going to get $600 million, whatever.
Ruthless Villain in chat says Jonah Heim hasn't thrown out a runner all year yet. So.
That's a good note. Then I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I know Cardi has like the battery stuff, like the battery data, which catchers are easiest to run on. So, I mean, sometimes you're stealing in the pitcher, sometimes you're stealing on the hitter. I think DeGrom's really bad at holding on runners too. Just trying to think, Texas and their pitchers. But yeah, that is interesting. Maybe I'm trying to think now. Maybe we should have looked at some of the props for stolen bases for the Cubs. But we're doing a show right now. Let's move on and talk about cores. Before we do that, we'll go ahead and drop that fourth clue for the people playing out the string. The fourth clue, Bobby, is it's not TV. Jewelry, reptile, moocher, it's not TV. Again, it is Television Tuesday, but the fourth clue is it's not TV. All right. Milwaukee and the Rockies. Did we get a Milwaukee lineup?
I know what this one is.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to you. Tell me in the private chat. By the way, my lighting is getting all funky too. I'm having issues as far as my cam. My apologies. But that's not the most important thing on the show. No, that is incorrect, Bobby.
All of those clues work there.
Yeah. They might work, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, they might actually work. It's kind of funny how that worked out, but that's not the official answer. It's not the White Lotus. Okay, let's talk. Yeah, and no Milwaukee lineup just yet, as far as I can tell. Yeah, Peralta, Freeland, over a 5 total for Milwaukee. The Rockies are considered to have the worst bullpen in baseball, if not the worst. Bottom 2, bottom 3, depending on projected going forward. We're assuming Chirinos leading off. Yelich, Contreras, who's been Contreras, Hoskins hasn't been great. Frelick, Capra, Isaac Collins, who looks like more of a speed guy. Joey Ortiz and Terang, another speed guy. In cores, I don't love this Milwaukee lineup. I don't think I'm making 5s. I think I'm going to play like 2 or 3, like minis for the Brewers. I reserve the right to change my mind, but that's where I'm at right now. You tell me, how do you feel about Milwaukee and the Rockies?
Milwaukee is going to go in heat. Guys like Joey Ortiz, Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Rhys Hoskins, Sal Frelick. Love all these guys. Jackson Chourio. I think they're in great spots. Colorado. I'm going to put Colorado in Tombstone. I think it's a tough situation versus Peralta, but it is Coors Field. So you can play McMahon. You can play Chris Bryant. Disgusting. Brenton Doyle. But the only reason I'm putting Colorado in Tombstone is because it's in Colorado.
Yeah, I get it.
Their team's not great this order. So
I like how they're calling up their prospects, though. I mean, at least give somebody something to root for. They called their top pitcher. He pitched over the weekend, and Zach Veen is one of their bigger prospects as well, and he's starting tonight. I do not think he's in the player pool. I'm fairly certain he's not in the player pool. That will be why he's not highlighted on the lineups page. His name is kind of very, very faint. That's the reason why, because he has no actual salary. By the way, shout out to TJ. TJ will be on talking some basketball later, but he is giving some Spidey bombs. He's only a vessel. Spidey is telling you who's going to homer tonight. I think how you get those Spidey bombs is you hit the like button. You hit the like button every 50 likes. Spidey all of a sudden gives the people a homer. That's pretty good odds on Cedric Mullins. Okay, TJ's talking some baseball as well too. So, but unless Cheese is talking basketball, I think TJ is our only hope for basketball tonight. So playing out the string. By the way, we don't have time to get into it, but Denver firing Mike Malone is atrocious. Like, that is bizarre and doesn't make any sense.
No basketball talk, Dean. No basketball talk.
They wouldn't even sign KCP or what was it, Brown a couple of years ago. Like, they can't spend any money around the greatest player of basketball, arguably, in the last 15, 20 years. Well, that's LeBron, but second best and Joker. And they're just rotting him away because they don't give him anything to work with. They don't want to spend a dime in Denver. Okay, let's talk about the Astros. Houston's taking on the Mariners. Two really good pitchers. It's a paltry total. It's 7. Framber Valdez taking on Luis Castillo. The favorite here is the Mariners, but again, hard to love these offenses here. Valdez, all his ground balls, doesn't give a lot of homers. More leading off, by the way, for Seattle. J-Rod. You got Cal Raleigh, the big dumper bat in third. Arozarena, Mitch Garber. So they're rolling out with 2 catchers tonight. Solano, Raleigh, Bliss, and Crawford. Again, no Houston lineup just yet, but, speculation here. It's Jordan and a bunch of righties. Your thoughts? Astros, Mariners.
You can put Seattle in the island of Moreau. Mitch Garber's value. You can play him if you want. The Mariners are awful. This park isn't great for hitting. Makes me want to reconsider my Framber Valdez situation because he's currently not in my pool. Seattle struck out at a tremendous rate last season. For me, I can't play any of these Seattle guys. And then Houston is fraudulent. I thought Logan Gilbert was going to throw a no-no last night. I said it on Twitter. He went 6 innings, and then Altuve broke it up. With Houston, I'm going to put Houston in the doors just because obviously Jordan is there. Castillo has trouble with lefties. Jordan probably hits a home run tonight. But then he's very good against righties. Like you said at the top of the show, 28% in terms of K percentage versus righties. I just don't like Castillo. Like, Castillo is the ace version of what the Houston Astros offense should be. I feel like when people think of Houston, they think their offense is good. When people think of Luis Castillo, they think he's good. I think they both suck. So yeah, I don't know. Houston in the doors for me. Like, there's nothing there that I really want.
You're bored. It's shaping up how I kind of feel about this slate. There's not a lot of great offensive spots. You're throwing a lot of them in not the absolute doldrum of the island of Dr. Moreau, but in the 4th slot. And we said if you're joining late, The Doors was a good movie, and Val Kilmer was spectacular. But I just wanted to give him a little bit more shine as far as too many movies to pick from. So I bent the general rules where 4 is kind of the doldrums, not the full doldrums, but that's where we're at. It's loaded. It's got a lot going on there. A lot of teams. Let's see if there are more joining the 4th tier. Well, probably not here, but you tell me. It's Baltimore. They're in Arizona, 9.5 total. Coin toss, right? Each team is close to a 5 total. Corbin Carroll, that is, leading off for Arizona. Perdomo, Smith, Naylor, Gurriel, Suarez, Moreno, Thomas, and Garrett Hampson drawing the start for Arizona. Of course, no Ketel Marte, big hole in that lineup. He hit the IL. Speaking of which, by the way, Matt McClain just hit the IL for Cincinnati. Their lineup just came out. We'll talk about that soon enough. We don't have Baltimore unless I'm missing it. Baltimore is not out just yet, but assume the projected lineup is correct. Where do you have the Orioles and the D-backs?
Yeah, in Arizona, in a dome. Well, they're opening the roof, I guess. But with that being the case, it's one of the only good weather spots on the slate. Arizona and Baltimore are both going in Top Gun for me. Like Gunnar Henderson, like Rushman, like Corbin Carroll a good bit. Garrett Hampson at 2.5 is good, is a value play you could throw there. Second base and outfield eligible. Perdomo's coming along. He's in the 2-hole. Like him, Suarez, Gurriel, Cedric Mullins in the 8-hole. I like the back end of this order a good bit. Tyler O'Neill for the Orioles.
Is Mullins officially in the 8-hole, Bobby? Are you seeing that? I'm seeing
he's projected in the 8-hole. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. TJ had Mullins as a Spidey bomb. When TJ has a Spidey bomb, I make a little group. I have my groups of all the hitters I like for the day, and I usually add them if I don't have them. So it's a good idea to do.
Really? And did you go back? You chirp back at TJ if it doesn't work out for whatever reason?
No. TJ's been very, very good at predicting Spidey bombs over the years. So I have no qualms when things go awry.
Yeah, and also it's not TJ, it's Spidey, right? So
yeah, he doesn't have to take the blame.
What's great though, what a great setup TJ has is if like it happened to like all of them homer or whatever, all the Spidey bombs, and you hit the like button, you get more Spidey bombs. If they happen to homer, who gets the credit? You think TJ passes it along? No, he just takes all the credit. So what a great gig that is. Get all the credit when things are going well, and pass it on when things are going poorly. Shout out to TJ for figuring that out. By the way, it's raining here. I'm assuming you can hear it. My apologies. My video stinks. It's raining. It's not great, but we're powering on through. Speaking of which, TJ, by the way, he'll be on in 15 minutes or so with Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood, talking a little bit of baseball. And of course, there is a basketball slate tonight as well. Trying to see if we're getting more lineups for Baltimore. Nope, not just yet. I like the Mullins call too. I like both these teams. You got them both there hanging out with Iceman. I couldn't think of the name for some reason. Iceman and Goose and Maverick and somebody else from Top Gun that I forgot their name. But we shall move on. There are 2 games. We have plenty of time, by the way. Producer Steve's telling me to turn a light on. I have my light on, but I just didn't dim it on enough. And it's too far away for me to do that right now, unless you take me off camera.
Looks like you have a shellfish allergy.
Say it again?
It looks like you have a shellfish allergy.
Are you saying, does it look like I had the fish, is what you're saying? Looks like I had the fish?
Looks like you have the fish, yeah.
All right. Let's knock out Cincinnati and the Giants. 7.5 is the total. We'll drop that 5th clue for the people. Again, we already got a winner, but the 5th clue is Aquaman. Aquaman is the 5th clue for Television Tuesday. Landon Roop taking on Nick Lodolo. We did just get the Reds. Friedel. Blake Dunn is batting second. De La Cruz, Lux, Encarnacion, Strand, Candelario, Steer, Fraley, Trevino. This Cincinnati lineup looks rough. Elio Ramos, Adames, Lee, Chapman, Flores, Matos, Schmitz, Fitzgerald, that is, batting 8th, and Sam Huff for the Giants. Tough ballpark, obviously. One of the biggest ballpark shifts negatively to go from Cincinnati to San Fran. Where do we have the Reds and Giants?
So Cincinnati, I'll put in the Doors, so add another team to the Doors. Not playing really any of those guys. You can always play Cruz. Gavin Lux is cheap in the 4-hole. That's weak when you're Gavin Lux is, if he's projected to be hitting 4th.
No, it's officially, that's the lineup.
Oh, he's in the lineup. Okay, yeah. So yeah, don't love Cincinnati. San Francisco, I think you can put in Tombstone. Ramos leading off at 4K, I think is good. Luis Matos hitting 6, 2,700. I don't mind that. Chapman and Willie Adames, you can always play those guys. So that's where I would have San Fran.
Last game on the board, no Padres just yet. They might be waiting for Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill is dealing with a hammy. It is left on left, too, if he plays, so maybe they give him another day, although Jeffrey Springs does not have a big split historically. The Athletics, their lineup is out. Butler, Rooker, Soderstrom banged out a couple homers last night. I believe he's tied in the majors right now for homers with Aaron Judge, unless something has changed I'm not aware of. Langeliers is batting cleanup. Leday, Andujar, Wilson, Urshela, Max Muncy, not that Max Muncy, the other Max Muncy. Yeah, good ballpark. We've talked about this ballpark a lot of homers so far in a small sample. Yeah, coming from the PCL, a massive ballpark jump from a hitting perspective, getting out of the Oakland Coliseum. Again, waiting on San Diego. They are the slight favorite here, minus 135. You can still insist is throwing baseballs. Taking on Jeffrey Springs. Where do we have the Padres and the Athletics?
So the Padres, I'm going to put them in Tombstone. I like them, but relative to the higher offenses, it's tough because that park, like we've seen last night, it's going to give up some of other guys there. Machado, Cronenworth, Merrill, like they're guys that I want to play. The back end of their order is terrible. Try to avoid that if possible. But yeah, they're in Tombstone for me. And then the Athletics versus Cease will probably be riding another team to the doors. Not really in love with any of the Athletics. I guess you could play Chase Soderstrom or Lawrence Butler, Rooker, Shea Langeliers, but they're not guys that I want outside of like one-offs, really.
I like San Diego as the winners. One of my favorite plays in the slate is Machado. Machado historically has hit lefties really hard. Springs, again, not a huge split, but he does have a fly ball lean. He also can be wild, too, which we like we like that more for stacks, not necessarily for my superstar. Take walks all day, especially one like Machado is not going to swipe a bag. To Teaswood, he's a base stealer. Interesting how he was very bad last year versus lefties, but I think the advanced stuff suggests that he was kind of unlucky. I don't think he has a hit versus a lefty, at least an extra base hit versus a lefty this season, but don't care about that. Also, another terrible bullpen expected. Springs can only pitch so long. You're probably going to get 3 innings or so, maybe 4 innings of bullpen. You're locked in for 9 in this ballpark, which I still think that Vegas is not fully adjusted to. Could be wrong, but I feel really good about this being a positive ballpark for hitting. So, and like as a cheapie du jour, Gurriel probably cracks the lineup. I don't know if he sticks around the entire game when a righty comes in, but he has 2K on DK, which could be useful. But he might only get 2 at bats, which you never know. Maybe he hits a homer and who cares? But just wanted to put that note out there. And again, Jackson Merrill is questionable. He's dealing with a hamstring. That's why he did not play last night. Let's summarize the board. NBA's coming on shortly. Baseball's coming on shortly. Kevin Roth, as far as weather, he can tell you. Anybody listening can tell you that it's raining outside my house because, I think it just stopped. Maybe you guys do not hear the rain anymore. My apologies for that. Here is a summary of the board. 2 teams up top, hanging out with Al Pacino and De Niro. That's the Rays, and Milwaukee, the Brewers, and Heat. Top Gun tiers got the Cubs, Arizona, Baltimore facing each other. Right there in the middle, we got Doc Holliday and Tombstone. It's the Rockies, Wyatt Earp, the Giants, and the Padres. The Doors, really, really popular, hanging out with Jim Morrison and Raymond Zurich. We got Philadelphia, Houston, the Angels, Texas, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Kansas City, and the Athletics. And hanging out with Marlon Brando, the Island of Dr. Moreau, it is the Twins and the Mariners in the worst possible tier. Bobby, I should have asked you beforehand to give you some time as I was doing the rundown. The people like their homers. They like their dingers. Who is going yard tonight? If you want to give me 3, by all means, feel free to be ambitious. Feel free to give me 1 up top, 1 down low, 1 in the middle, somebody off the board, however you want to handle it.
Oh, Dean.
People want their homers. I'm just asking on behalf of the people. You weren't ready for this? You've done this show before.
We'll go Brandon Lau. What's he, mid-tier? He's kind of mid, yeah. Brandon Lau, 4,600. Yelich up top, 5,700. Down low. What do we like down low?
Give me that cheapie. Give me somebody like less than 4K on DK.
Oh, my favorite player in baseball, Danny Jansen. 3-2.
Danny Jansen. If you have any questions, we'll answer those before Crunch Time shows up. I do want to give an explanation for our Television Tuesday winner. Also want to shout out, he actually said it when he was said it in the Discord channel. I know that he's won this before. Peterman. And he said he basically just pulled over and just answered. Just nailed it out of nowhere. Picking up some Chinese food and all of a sudden got
What was the movie?
Oh, it's a Television Tuesday, so it's a TV show.
Sorry.
And that's fine. The first clue is jewelry, and jewelry was in reference to one of the characters. Their last name is Gold. If I say the first name, you might automatically know the character in the movie. Now I'm doing it. TV show. Reptile, another character, their sort of nickname, I guess they were called this the entire show, it is a reptile. Did you know turtles are reptiles? Turtles are reptiles. Moocher.
Who doesn't know that?
I'm just saying. I don't know.
So what was the name of the show again?
Is Animal Planet on the in the house in the background at all times? So jewelry is in reference to Ari Gold. Reptile is in reference to turtle. Moocher. Well, if you're a big time celebrity, you probably have a lot of hangers on.
Gotta be the first show ever, Entourage. I can't stand Entourage.
It was on for 8 seasons. I can't believe it lasted that long.
No, it wasn't bad. Ari was just like the best. Like, just give me Ari all day. Vinny Chase was just a terrible main character.
He also, like the actor, he didn't really do a lot afterwards. I mean, a lot of people say.
I think there was a reason for that. Like, he wasn't.
Yeah. We don't see a lot of him. It's not TV is a reference to, of course, the old HBO slogan. It's not TV, it's HBO. And Aquaman is Vinny Chase. Remember, he took the role. I think James Cameron, fictionally, he wasn't taking the role from Jason Momoa, but he took the role from on the show. He played Aquaman. The people are not happy you're taking Aquaman.
Link in chat, good buddy of mine. He thinks he has the right take, but it's the wrong take.
My take is it just falls off really bad, and it stuck around way too long. Like
that's how I feel about it. Like, it was good originally, and I loved it originally, and then it was just like Game of Thrones, or it was just like redundant towards the end, and that's why
And I do agree, like you don't often get like the main character, if there's a main character, as the worst character, but Vinny Chase might be the worst character in the show.
Like Ari and who was his secretary? That was like great TV. Lloyd, yeah. Lloyd? That was really good TV.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen. The reason why I picked this, by the way,
you have Ari and Lloyd, Dean.
Say it again.
Or you can be Lloyd.
Okay. The only reason why I picked this, by the way, we were talking about. I was tying in with the tiers because we did have a cameo appearance from Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer did make an appearance on Entourage, so I wanted to tie those two together.
A lot of people made cameos on Entourage.
Yeah, so you wouldn't. There's no dead giveaway, but there's no clear and obvious. But that's
someone who had like Val Kilmer. He looks like a totally different. He looked like a totally different person near the end.
I think he was ill for a while.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I think he was going through some pain when he filmed he had that one scene in Top Gun Maverick. But all right, I see Roth in chat. But Roth's going to be here in just a second. He says, "Terrible take, Bobby." So Roth's going to be coming at you. I'm curious if anybody else has a thought.
Ari is my probably one of my favorite TV characters of all time.
Okay, that's a
but take. I just didn't like the show at the end. Like I was over it.
Stuck around way too long, and they made a movie like 4 years after that. Which did anybody see the movie? I didn't see the movie, but
Well, I'm not a brunette guy. I don't like I like blondes. Give me blondes all day. Give me Sydney Sweeney all day.
Sloan was the girlfriend, I believe.
Anything Sydney Sweeney's in over whatever Sloan's in.
Bobby, you have all these takes. Next time I ask you for a tier board, make a board. Now you got all these takes.
I have 2 kids with a third on the way, Dean. I don't have any time.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's do it. We teased it. We got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and of course the great Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Let's do it. It's crunch time right now. Roth, did you want to retort with Bobby or?
No, honestly, he kind of clarified, and his take is right. Like when he first just said terrible show, I was like, that's way too harsh. But then when you said it fell off really hard,
because zero rewatch equity, rewatch in this. I just started rewatching Game of Thrones, also zero rewatch. I'm not gonna finish. I watched the first and second season. I'm like, I can't watch any more of this because it's great up until a point, and then it's just terrible.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a fine take. I really just wanted to pile on because everyone said you had a shit take, and I was just in the mood.
I came off too strong, probably saying.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. You can't compare the fall off from Game of Thrones to the fall off of Entourage. I think that's kind of insulting to Game of Thrones. I know the last season people are a little upset about, but for the most part, a bigger chunk of that show was really, really good. Is that TJ? This is your specialty. Chime in here.
First 5 seasons were really, really good of Game of Thrones, and then it was terrible.
TJ?
I mean, I'm pretty neutral on it. I'm not a big Game of Thrones guy. I'm not a big Entourage guy, so I'm kind of neutral on it all. I would say that I would agree. According to like fan consensus, I would agree with you, Dean. There's a much larger fraction of Game of Thrones that is good than Entourage. It's really just the last season that people universally hate.
Dave, I'm going to assume best Val Kilmer movie. Are you going to say Top Gun?
Yeah, of course I am.
Okay,
But I
I
have no issue with anyone putting Heat ahead of it. It's more if you take away all of the nostalgia of Top Gun and want to say the Heat is better, I'm not going to yell at you.
Yeah, it might be a better movie today, maybe if you didn't grow up at the time, that kind of thing. You showed it to me the first time, but there you go. The chat's fired up talking about it as well. But you guys got plenty of time to talk some basketball, talk some baseball. Myself and Bobby, we appreciate y'all watching the first portion. TJ, are we still doing Spidey Bombs? That's still a thing? Are we close to 100 likes, 150 likes? I don't know where we're at as far as Spidey Bombs.
We are at, just a reminder that when Crunch Time came in yesterday, we were at 200 likes. And we are at 100 likes right now, Dean. So you got to step it up. Just saying.
Well, was there a big difference in yesterday's show and today's show that you want to point out?
There may have been one key difference. And so I'm just saying, you got to make sure people are smashing that like button. We did get the first Spidey Bomb with Cedric Mullins. And now the next one is we did just reach 100 likes. So Spidey Bomb number 2 is ready to go to Josh Naylor at plus 700. So we got Cedric Mullins and Josh Naylor. Third one's coming to 150. Hopefully, fourth one's coming at 200.
That was Bobby. I was Dean with my shameful 100 likes. This is Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. Crunch time. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. First time they've been on show together this year, apparently. Dave Pot, Cheeseisgood in the house. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. I've missed TJ, and there he is. So all is good.
There he is. I've got my daughter saying hello. So TJ, you say hi.
What's up, everybody? And I will say, in Dean's defense, we were pitching that there was a chance that Chop would go streaking yesterday. So that definitely bumped up the likes. But I think we got to get Dean some kind of home run call so we can get the likes up on GrindersLive.
Yeah, he's got to have something to
His
sell.
dong's got to happen throughout the show. He's already got the home run call.
There we go.
We just need to start happening throughout the show.
I forgot about the mustache. I forgot that was a thing until I just saw that. Can we pop it up one more time and just appreciate it? It's great. That thing was great. Bring back the mustache, Dean. All right. Hey, let's dive into this content. We're talking baseball. We're talking basketball as well. We're going to answer your questions. We'll start with just a little weather talk. No rain concerns, but it's, again, absurdly cold. Like, has anyone scored 10 runs ever, Cheese? I don't look at scores because it's been cold everywhere. Has it just suppressed runs?
I mean, yeah. Well, it's crazy. Like the Cubs scored 7 last night in that cold, but no home runs, which, more than anything, you're suppressing the home runs. But yeah, I mean, scoring has not been through the roof anywhere because, we've not had great hitting weather anywhere.
It's too cold. It's just too cold. That's going to be the case again. Warmest spot, I believe, is Tampa.
Roofs open in Arizona again.
Roofs open in Arizona. And that will be the warmest spot and my favorite spot. And then it's crazy windy in Boston with winds blowing out 25 miles per hour, but it's like 30 degrees. So, that's it. That's all I have in the weather department. No rain concerns. So let's jump into the slate. And we'll start with baseball talk. Cheese, you want to walk me through your favorite pitchers?
I do. It's like yesterday. There's a ton of them. It's just ace after ace after ace. And you can play all of them. I'll name my favorites, but like you could play, 8 pitchers, and I certainly wouldn't argue with you at all. I think the main thing that I think when I both just kind of looking at it and building lineups, I think Cole Reagans is going to be way more chalky than anyone's projecting. Like he's basically, you could kind of put him as the fourth ace, the 4 being Zach Wheeler, Dylan Cease, Chris Sale, and then Cole Reagans. And especially on DK, like Reagans is over $2,000 cheaper than Wheeler and Cease and $1,000 cheaper than Sale. And they're all kind of the same guy with the same upside. So I think we're going to see borderline massive ownership on Reagans. And even on FanDuel, even though it's a little bit less of a discount, he is cheaper than all those guys. And again, more or less just as good. So I think Reagans is probably twice as popular as every other pitcher. And
are you excited about that?
Does
that make you want to play him or make you want to not play him?
Neither. It makes me just say the salary is what it is. And when you start building lineups, like it's almost impossible not to play him. So I think he's more like 50% owned, and I'm over the field.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just the only way around that is you either spend up and really sacrifice the offense, or you play more Freddie Peralta, who's still not going to be sneaky at all. And I would just rather play Reagans. So I'm over the field on Reagans. I just mostly want to point out, I think he's way more chalky than what we're showing and what people seem to be thinking.
Okay, good note.
So with all that, I think Dylan Cease is the guy that gets squeezed and doesn't get enough ownership. So I'm going to call him my favorite high-end guy, even though, like, if salary's no thing at all, I would go with Zach Wheeler. And then on DK, Chris Sale is considerably cheaper than Wheeler and Cease. So I think Sale Reagans is the chalk combo on DK, with the second chalk combo being Reagans and Peralta, which is all to say I just don't think people are really playing Cease and Wheeler because of the salary, nor should they really. I mean, these are all the same guy with the same upside. So why not just play the cheaper ones? And I think that's what the field is going to do. I also have a little bit of Shane Baz. Like, we really have no idea what we're getting with Shane Baz, but he looked like a superstar in his first start, and he was a super high upside guy before the Tommy John surgery. So I kind of throw last year out the window. Like, it was just him starting to work back, and maybe he belongs with all these guys. I am totally out on Framber Valdez and Louis Castillo. I have no issue with you playing them. Valdez was like super sick over the weekend, and they weren't even sure until like midday if he was even going to start. That's enough for me to say I don't need to play him on this slate. And Castillo, like, I love the matchup for Castillo because the Astros and all their ridiculous right-handed batters, but he's just not as good as these other pitchers. The one other guy that showed up in one lineup, which is, by the way, a lineup that I think is terrible on DK, is Jamison Taillon, because he's $6,200 and he's got that favorable weather, and like, he throws strikes, and sometimes that's all you need to get lucky. So if you just need to spend up on all the bats, I guess I'm willing to play him as the cheap guy.
Okay.
And that's really it.
Yeah. Okay, TJ, I need you to go off about pitcher for a little bit. I need to run. I have a minor kid emergency. I will be right back.
I too agree with in chat that Dean would very likely be a good tipper because Dean's a great person, and so I'm on board with Roth in the chat right now. I don't really, unfortunately, have anything to add to pitcher just because G's pretty much covered it. I agree. Reagan's going to be a lot higher owned than we're currently projecting, especially on DraftKings. And I'm also with you. I'm going to have well over 50% Cole Reagans tonight. So not a whole lot to add on that front. But I will remind everybody that we get Spidey Bum number 3 at 150 likes, and we're at 142. So only 8 likes away from Spidey Bum number 3, but we got 600 people watching on YouTube. Look, if you guys keep hitting the like button, I'll keep giving home run calls. We got Cedric Mullins. We got Josh Naylor. Both are at least plus 650. Third at 150. Fourth at 200. Fifth at 250. Sixth at 300. We'll keep going if you guys keep smashing that like button. So let's keep popping them up, and we'll keep picking the home runs.
Did I miss your whole pitcher spiel there?
My pitcher spiel is essentially I agree with Cheese.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it be that way. Okay, let's talk about stacks then.
For me, I'm going to be trying to get to an absolute ton of, a lot of people are going to play Flock Jakurs, and I think rightfully so, especially the Milwaukee side of things. But my two favorite stacks are on the slate are in Arizona. We talked about how freakishly cold it is everywhere right now. It's warmer right now here in Saskatoon than it is in a lot of these stadiums. It's 42 degrees or something Fahrenheit here today. And no wind, just perfectly sunny. It's actually kind of nice. And it's going to be getting up to like 50 and 60 later in the week. So like, come on, East Coast, let's bump it up, guys. But I want to play a ton of Arizona because it's 90 degrees and they're playing with the roof open. So I'll be getting to a ton of Baltimore against Merrill Kelly. I'll be getting to a ton of Arizona going up against Baltimore, and those are going to be my top two. For some reason, my lineup HQ is moving really, really slow right now. And so I'm only at like 85 lineups out of 150, and it's been about 20 minutes. So I'm not going to be able to do much adjusting. Whatever comes in next is just going to be what I'm throwing out there. But outside of Baltimore and Arizona, outside of Coors, I would say my next favorite stack on the slate is probably the Cubs. It's not great weather, but they're just hitting the ball so damn good right now. They're stealing a ton. And they're playing Patrick Corbin. So I'm going to be loading up on the Cubs despite the bad weather. And then sneakiest stack I think I have the most interest in would be in the last game of the slate, Oakland and San Diego. Obviously Oakland's playing Cease, and that's a horrifically bad matchup. But this, as Dean was talking about it on the last show, this this Athletic Park has been playing very, very hitter friendly early on, and so I'm going to keep targeting this one. And right now, the highest owned player in that game on DraftKings is Yuri Gurriel, projecting for 10%, and that's not even somebody I want to play anyways.
Okay. Cheese, I want your thoughts on stacks, but also I got a question about your FanDuel cash pitcher, which I assume is just the dude who was a little too cheap. And
Cole Riggins. Right. It would definitely be Riggins. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured.
My thoughts on stacks are very similar to TJ. The one thing I want to say on the stacks, well, sure, the Brewers are the chalk. I think the Orioles are pretty super chalk as well. Like, I think those two teams take up the bulk of everything. And then the other teams that I think will come in higher owned than you think they're going to because of salary is Tampa, Cincinnati, and San Francisco. You can stack any of those three teams and play whatever pitches and the most expensive bats around them. So I think you're going to see basically Brewers 1, Orioles 2 as chalk, and then those cheap teams after them. I'm highest on the Cubs. I also like the Diamondbacks, like TJ said. And is there something else? The sneaky one for me would be the Royals.
Okay. Let's go around the horn. We'll start a catcher. Cheese, you get to lead us off there.
All right. So the two top teams both have good catchers. Contreras and Rutschman are standouts. They're expensive, but I think worth it. If you're not spending up, at that point, I would really just want to full punt it. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of Cal Raleigh or Sal Perez, but I would go down to Carson Kelly or just all the way down to Sam Huff and just take a minimum salary guy and hope he gets you something. Like, there's the mid-tier to me is not all that worth spending on. I really like the top two, and then I just want to go cheap.
Yeah. TJ, your thoughts on catcher?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Cheese there. There's a lot of cheap guys that I don't mind taking shots on. Carson Kelly, Travis d'Arnaud, Mitch Garver, all of those guys. None of them are in all that great of spots or outside, like Kelly is. But outside of that, like Garver and d'Arnaud aren't in good spots, but they're just cheap and they're in a good lineup spot. In the mid-tier, the one guy I like really low ownership is Shea Langelier. But outside of that, yeah, it's Contreras as the top option by a lot.
Okay. And yes, we are aware that it's Langoliers. It's a long story. TJ to first.
We're aware of nothing that you just said. Forget what Roth just said.
It's Langelier. Yeah. First base, TJ.
Another thing that, doesn't feel like the right thing to do today, but I'm going to be playing a lot of is nice cheap option here at first, Tyler Soderstrom, and he's got 6 home runs so far this year. No, I don't think he's going to tie Aaron Judge with home runs at the end of the season, but he's tied with him right now. He's hitting the ball really well to start the year, and like we talked about, I think this Athletic Park is going to play fairly hitter friendly, and we're going to see these totals in that stadium go up and up as the season goes on. So I do like some Soderstrom for tournaments at absolutely no ownership. As a pivot off of Ryan O'Hearn and Pavin Smith, both in that range. Those to me are you do have Rhys Hoskins at 4.6, who looks absolutely fantastic. I think he, along with Pavin Smith and Ryan O'Hearn, are kind of like the 3 top options. But then I do like Soderstrom as a pivot in the cheap range. As a pivot off of Hoskins, my favorite is Josh Naylor, a Spidey bomb today. And then I also love Vinny Pasquantino for Tortellini Tuesday.
Nice. Cheese, any thoughts at first?
I mean, similar to catcher. Like, I like the top 2 guys, that being Hoskins and Naylor, but otherwise, I'd rather go cheap. I mean, Ryan O'Hearn is not cheap, but he's cheap-ish. fine with the Soderstrom call. We've also got Jonathan Aranda, Wilmer Flores, and Encarnacion Strand. Like, there's a lot of cheap guys with at least moderate upside. So that's it. That's really my whole pool.
Okay, how about second?
Second, Brandon Lau's got all the colors, which kind of makes me like Westberg a little more. Like I said, I think the Orioles stack will be chalky, but maybe he's the guy that gets left out because people will want lefties, and then it looks, well, why I could just play Lau for a little cheaper. Otherwise, this position is pretty blah. It's mostly a guy in the stack. Like, you can play Dylan Moore leading off, but that's still not great. So I'm playing cheap nonsense here too. I'm playing like Casey Schmidt or Tyler Fitzgerald for the Giants. I do have a little bit of Michael Massey and Gavin Lux priced next to Moore. But basically, the reason Lau has that rainbow is because the position is just really bad, and he's not super expensive.
Yeah. TJ, second base.
We have reached 150 likes, so it's time to give away Spidey Bomb number 3. We're actually already getting close to 200, so keep smashing that like button. We got some free home run calls for you. They're hot this year. Smash the like button. Spidey Bomb number 3 is Vinny Pasquantino, Tortellini Tuesday, plus 750 over at Bet365. As long as it's like over plus 650, I like Vinny B to hit a home run today. So we got Cedric Mullins, Josh Naylor, Vinny Pasquantino. Keep smashing the like button for some more homer calls. Yeah, Brandon Lau is going to be my favorite here by a very wide margin. I'm going to be playing as much of him as I can, either in a stack or as a one-off. I do think he's going to hit a home run today. I was considering him to be a Spidey Bomb, but Bobby already picked him for a home run call, so I didn't want to copy him. You do have Dylan Moore leading off, even though it's Valdez, which is and you have Kyle Farmer batting 5th in Coors, which we like batting 5th in Coors. We don't really like Kyle Farmer. Gavin Lux is a fine option, but I think like my favorite for GPPs today is going to be Michael Massey at 3.8, outside of Brandon Lau, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's go to third base, DJ. Have we historically not viewed third base as like a good position for DFS? Like, there's some hitters here, right? Yeah, but it's not trending that way this year.
It started changing last year.
Yeah.
Where it's just not the same.
Caminero, especially on FanDuel, is super cheap over there. He's going to be probably your cash guy in that spot. It's definitely over on FanDuel. And DK, maybe you can go more Westberg, Suarez, one of these guys. I think Suarez will probably be my favorite of the group just because he's batting further down in the order. I could see him being one of the Arizona guys that goes a little lower owned. Ryan McMahon in Coors and cheap. I don't mind today at all. I like Matt Chapman, but it's a pretty gross position. So I'm basically just playing people in stacks. Okay.
Then I think, Cheese, your thoughts there at third.
I do really like Manny Machado and Matt Chapman. So I am trying to get up to them as one-offs when I can. I also like Matt Shaw. He's not super cheap anymore, but I like him.
Okay. How about short?
Okay, shortstop. We have a lot of the good shortstops, but Gunnar Henderson stands out by a lot because of the matchup, and he's cheaper than Witt and Ellie on both sites. So that does, squeeze Ellie and Witt, which always play them because they're great in any matchup. But Gunnar is definitely the guy. And then Corey Seager is great too. This is one of those, if the weather was good, he might be the chalk. So because of the salary, I also don't have much Ellie and Witt, which makes it easier for me to say you probably should play them. But it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it because you're then sacrificing something else, and you've got a player who has a much better matchup for a little cheaper. So that's why I'm mostly eating the chalk with Henderson. Yeah,
TJ, what are you doing at short?
I too am mostly eating the chalk with Henderson. He is that twice as much Henderson as any other shortstop tonight. Outside of him, I love Geraldo Perdomo. Bobby Witt is my third highest own. I'm going to be still trying to double the field on him today. And then I like Dansby Swanson quite a bit as well. I like that Cubs lineup a lot.
Yeah. All right. You get to bring us to the outfield.
Corbin Carroll is going to be my highest owned guy in the outfield today. Love the Arizona stack. Love Corbin Carroll. Fernando Tatis is another guy that I really, really like today. They're my highest owned by a fairly wide margin. And then I'm getting some cheapies like Blake Dunn, Pavin Smith, Cameron Meisner. I'm going to be underweight on Jackson Chourio, which terrifies me. Chourio and Yelich are going to be the two guys I'm most underweight on, which I'm very afraid of because it's Coors, but that's allowing me to get overweight on Carroll, Tatis, Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Ian Happ, guys that I really like tonight.
Yeah. Cheese, your thoughts there in the outfield?
Yeah, I'm also way under on those Brewers at those prices. I prefer Tatis, Carroll, Suzuki, and Yordan Alvarez. With ownership factored in, Alvarez is my favorite play on the slate by a lot. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the mid-tier that's pretty good, like better than the mid-tier at all the other positions. But I still would rather spend up. Like if I can do 2 spend ups and a cheap one, I would rather do that. But there's plenty to like there. A lot in that Arizona and Baltimore game. I love Mullins and O'Neill, Gurriel. I like Helio Ramos. It kind of never ends in that mid-tier. And then getting cheaper, I like Isaac Collins. He's a new Brewers player. He's got a lot of speed and should be a pretty good on-base guy. So I like him. I've also got, is it Meisner or Misner, the Tampa guy? Do we know? To me, it's Cameron Misner, but I have no idea how you pronounce his name. He's 2,800 against Kyle Hendricks. I would play me for that if I were left-handed. Also like Blake Dunn a fair amount.
Okay, we want to do some home run calls here. We got over 500 people watching. If we get a few more likes, we'll get a 4th Spidey Bomb, and that will be TJ's home run call. So make sure you hit that thumbs up for us. In the meantime, Cheese, let's get a few picks. Somebody a little chalky or somebody big time, and then something sneaky.
Yeah, expensive chalk. We'll just go with Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
Mid-tier non-chalk, we'll go with Helio Ramos. And then how about a cheap Cameron Misner?
Very good. Okay, TJ, you got a 4th Spidey Bomb for us? Are we there yet?
We are there, and yes, I absolutely do. But apologies, I was not quite ready yet because I was adjusting some things. I forgot, in addition to the 150 max that I did, I also put a 20 entry max in there today. So I am rambling, but having said that, I do have one more Spidey Bomb for you, and it's, give me a second, plus 725, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. knocking one out of the park today. So going to another Arizona player, love me some Gurriel tonight against Morton. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Spidey Bomb number 4.
Good stuff.
If we can get there.
Yeah, we can get another one. Let's get another Spidey Bomb. Hit that thumbs up, free content. Also want to make sure we are answering all of your questions, and we want to make sure you're getting the best deal in the industry here. And we really do have an awesome deal going on. This is special for the Masters, the battle for the jacket heating up in Augusta. No better place to sweat the action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. And this year's first major, DraftKings going all in. Customers get a shot to play free for $1 million top prize with your next $10 deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. RotoGrinders also giving you a chance to use our Lineup HQ product for PGA free for the whole week. That's crazy. I don't think we've ever done that. All you need to do is sign up, create a RotoGrinders account, which is also free to do, by the way. The link is in the description. So DraftKings is giving you the entry to win $1 million. We are giving you the content to help you win $1 million. It's all there for you. All you got to do is sign up and take advantage of those promos. Okay, let's take some QQs, see what we got. Jumping in the Discord. DKGPP, I know it's gross, Cheese, but Baz and Freeland or Tyon and Roop?
Yeah, I saw that question and I just closed out Discord. I'll answer the question, but I can't fathom playing either of those two combos for real life money today. I really can't. But I would do Tyon and Roop if that's really your options.
Okay, well, I will make it a little easier for you, Cheese. How about your favorite FanDuel GPP pitcher?
Reagans. I know he's chalk, but that's just the answer.
Yeah. All right. TJ, I'm coming to you. Your favorite FanDuel single entry pitcher?
It's also Reagan's.
Okay. Let's see. Ray says, TJ, I'm late. How you feel about Sale and Reagan's and the DK single entry?
Absolutely love it. It's the chalk though, but that's also the best, like most optimal pairing tonight, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like Nathan says, who's the best pitcher to pair with Wheeler in single entry, not named Peralta? Is Reagan's? Is it Reagan's? Probably.
Yeah, and so the thing is, like, Wheeler is like maybe the best pitcher in the world, and he's not chalky at all. So you don't even have to really worry about who you're pairing with him.
Yeah. Peter says, Cheese, DK GPP, your best high-end pitcher and low end with the most K upside. So greatest strikeout upside, expensive and cheap.
I mean, I would say the most. I mean, they all have the most strikeout upside. I don't even know how to answer that. I'll say Chris Sale. It depends what you mean by cheap. Like, the thing about the cheap guys today, which is why I don't like them, is they don't have strikeout upside. Like, depending on what you mean by cheap. Like, Tyon is the cheap guy I'm playing, but he's not strikeout upside. You just hope he gets a bunch of outs. Like, I mean, Freddie Peralta, I think, is cheap, and he has the same strikeout upside as Wheeler, Sale, Reagans, and Cease.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got a DK Cash question. TJ, I'll give this one to you from Matt. Churio and Frelick or Carroll and Lourdes Gurriel, DK Cash?
Oh, Cash, you got to go Milwaukee.
Okay. All
Just
right.
confirm, we are still doing NBA, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We got time, right?
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
Yep.
And if you
we'll
want,
take a few-
anytime you guys want to switch, I can sit in the Discord and answer baseball questions too.
Okay. We'll take a few more minutes. If the questions start slowing down, then we'll jump into NBA. But yes, a good note. If you're watching and you want some NBA content, it's coming. Less than 5 minutes, maybe 60 seconds. We'll see. Cheese, thoughts on Roop, FanDuel GPP?
I can't fathom playing him on FanDuel, honestly.
Okay. Your 3 favorite pitchers on DK, Cheese?
Reagan, Sale, Wheeler if you have money, Peralta if you don't.
Okay. DePrince says, TJ, would you play Peralta on FanDuel to get to Tatis and Alvarez?
I mean, sure, but if that's a GPP question, that's fine. But Alvarez is not like he's in some smash spot tonight. Like, Castillo isn't great against lefties, but it's still a terrible hitter's park. So as a GPP play, yes, that's fine. But it's not something I think you got to do or anything.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only $300 to get to Reagan's. You can make that work.
Yeah, find the $300. Joey says, Roth, the weather in San Francisco looks decent. Yeah, especially comparatively, right? The weather in San Francisco is often like this, but usually like 2 months from now, it's going to be 90 degrees everywhere else, and it's going to be like this in San Francisco, whereas this is a case where it is warmer than a lot of the other games. So yeah, it's decent, especially comparatively. Geez.
NBA lineups in, MLB lineups in. We are good to go.
With plenty of time to spare. Single entry stack. Your favorite single entry stack, TJ, in a GPP?
Arizona.
More questions coming in the Discord. I'm going to knock out these Discord questions, and then I'm going to go over to hoops after that. M. Rio says, Cheese, Machado, Adames? He didn't.
Probably Adames.
Or Sosa and Henderson.
Machado, Adames.
Okay. Beaner says, thoughts on Baz? Is that the Tampa pitcher who's supposed to be really good, but then he was injured?
Yes. I am playing a little bit of him on DK. I think he's my SP6. Keeping in mind that there are more than 6 great pitchers.
Yeah. Blink says, can Mr. Cheese fathom using Roop if I pair him with Reagan's and the best stack of the night?
So a whole bunch of people have talked about Roop. Like, on a lot of slates, he would be very much in play. It's just, I don't know why you would do it. Like, he might be a good pitcher, and he might be good tonight. I'm not sure what we're trying to accomplish with it. But I mean, you can do whatever you want. All I can say is I have 0 Roop, and if I had 100 more lineups, I would still have 0. But I don't think he's terrible or anything. He might even be good. Like, he's very much an unknown.
But yeah, it might be good versus a lot of dudes who are in a good spot who are good. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I think we've got to kick it over to, we do have a lot of questions in the YouTube, Cheese. I don't know if you can
I'll see if I can get some of them.
Yeah, if you can hang out and do a little bit of that, that would be great. In the meantime, TJ, let's talk some basketball. A coach just got fired on a playoff team that won a championship 2 years ago. My mind exploded. This is happening. I don't know. This is what's going on, man.
I will say that, like, I'm not quite as high on Mike Malone as a coach as a lot of people are. Like, yes, he's the winningest coach in Nuggets history, but that directly just coincides to Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in all of basketball whenever Nikola Jokic is not on the court. And so I'm not like super rah-rah, Mike Malone's the best, this is crazy. But the timing is absolutely nuts. Like, Taylor Jenkins randomly just got fired from Memphis a while ago when that team was doing super, super well. And it seemed as though that came out of nowhere. Why the hell would they do this? And you hear some behind the scenes stuff and you learn, oh, okay, that's why it happened. But the Mike Malone one, haven't heard anything like that yet. And it's definitely
we will.
random. I mean, I have heard some, like, apparently the owner hates the GM and Mike Malone or something like that. Or I'm paraphrasing. I don't quote me on that. But apparently there's some just like dislike between those two. But the timing is pretty wild. Maybe just like, if playoffs don't go well this year, then you do it. But I mean, we've seen this go terribly. We've seen something like this go well before, so it could go either way.
I got no chill. Says, I guess it's safe to say the Nuggets are now post Malone. Sunglasses down. Well done. Okay, hey, let's talk about this slate here, TJ. If there's any breaking news that has happened or that we are waiting to happen, let me know that. Then we'll start on FanDuel. Then we'll go to DraftKings, and we'll try to kind of speed our way through it.
We got most of the news ready to go already. We just got all the Boston guys that were questionable. They're all going to be playing. I think we got Miles Bridges already. So I think we pretty much have all the news, at least all the important news that we were waiting for. I really just feel like there's one game that needs to be talked about a whole lot, and that is Chicago and Cleveland. You're probably playing at least half of your lineup coming from that game on both sites. And the one big difference is the Chicago starting lineup is totally different than what we were projecting. Jalen Smith is in there over Zach Collins. Patrick Williams is starting. We were not projecting him to start. Taylor Horton-Tucker was expected to start, but it's Javon Carter in over him. So there have been some things that have adjusted a little bit, but for the most part, we just got all the news that we were waiting for. And that is the biggest thing to talk about is Chicago and Cleveland. We are going to be loading up with players from those teams at every single position tonight. And it starts at point guard on FanDuel. Darius Garland, only 7,500. So Javon Carter is absolutely the guy that you need to play here now that he's starting. He's $3,500. He is a must. Absolute bare minimum price. He was a great play before he was starting. Now that he's starting, he's a must. We have Reese Beekman, Darius Garland, Ty Jerome as the next three guys that if you're doing a single entry, if you're doing a cash, you got to have one of those three guys paired with him. I would say I would prefer to do it with one of the Cavs. So Darius Garland or Ty Jerome, either one, whichever one fits your lineup best, I'm totally okay with. It kind of just depends what you're doing with the rest of it. But I think you need a Cleveland guy paired with Javon Carter today. Other options, like it's another one of those days that I'm not even going to mention any shooting guards because people who are point guard shooting guards, it's another one of those days that if they have shooting guard eligibility, you play them there. Same thing. And if a shooting guard has small forward eligibility, you play them there. You got to absolutely just keep making those pivots because the guard value is so strong today. Spending up for John Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic especially, Trae Young, that will make you super Steph Curry will make you super different today. If I was playing 150 lineups when I'm looking at 1% Jalen Brunson against Boston, 1% Trae Young against Orlando, terrible matchup. 2% Luka Doncic. I would just make sure that I would be getting overweight on all of those guys if I was running out a ton of lineups, but not somebody that is necessary or even be considered in like a 3-entry max setting for me tonight, probably. Shooting guard position, Tyrese Halliburton is one of the top spend ups on the slate today. I really like getting to him, and if I did, it would be at shooting guard. Bradley Beal is currently the chalk at shooting guard, and I think that is chalk that I would definitely want to get away from today. Bradley Beal just has not looked good this season at all. He had one stretch of fine games, and other than that, he has looked pretty awful. So Bradley Beal is some chalk that I would be wanting to get off of. Outside of him, though, like I do like Devin Booker. Devin Booker is also projecting for a lot of ownership, and I am perfectly fine with the Booker chalk. Just I would not want to be playing the Beal chalk. But my favorites are Halliburton, as well as, sorry, let me scroll here, see if there's any guys further down that I'd want to be playing. FanDuel shooting guard's nowhere near as strong as DK shooting guard, which is why we're seeing this Bradley Beal chalk. But my favorite pairing is spending up for Halliburton and Booker, and I do think you can still play Taylor Horton-Tucker, even though he's coming off the bench.
Okay, let's go to forward. And again, if you want, you can pool them together, small forward and power forward. Your call.
For the most part, I will, other than saying like Dalen Terry, small forward only, and he is the one guy that you're absolutely plugging in. I don't mind, especially if you're double spending up at shooting guard, double spending down here and utilizing Maxwell Lewis alongside Dalen Terry. Both Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero have shooting small forward and power forward eligibility. I feel like I would probably want to play one of those two guys, especially if it's in a single entry cash style lineup, Banchero being my preferred option, but Franz Wagner is a lot cheaper. So if he's all you can get to, totally fine with that as well. Evan Mobley at 8,700, probably my favorite on forward spend up on the slate. Patrick Williams at 4K in the starting lineup. He's a really nice value. Maybe not a super high ceiling, but a strong cash game play because he should play enough minutes to do well. As a pivot for tournaments, though, I like going to Matas Buzelis. He's the one bull that's priced up a little bit, but we've seen this dude have an absolutely massive ceiling, and the ownership is not matching.
Yeah. Quick note that if you're watching and you have any baseball questions, Cheese is answering those in the YouTube right now. So make sure you're getting in your baseball questions there. We'll get to some basketball questions. Good job, Cheese. I was worried, like tech-wise. I was like, do you have this? You got this?
It's not easy. I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, am I doing this right? But there I am. And hey, there's a person named Beekman. That's my NBA player of the day lock.
Lock him in. TJ, you on board? Locking in Beekman?
No, but he's a good play.
Right.
What I do is I go through the tags on Lineup HQ and look for the guy I have never heard of who has a cool name, and that's him today.
Yeah. That's fair. I think that's a good strategy. It will probably work for you. TJ, you want to bring us right to center?
Jalen Smith, walk. No one else is in play.
Wow. Okay. For real.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to look at this. All right.
It's not sorted by percentage of ownership yet because we were not projecting him to start, but he was a great play. One of the best value plays on the slate when we were projecting him to off the bench. Now that he's starting, I'm assuming this minutes projection is going to bump significantly from 19. I'll just see if that's up yet. Still at 19 from now. Haven't had the adjustment, but yeah, Jalen Smith is the guy.
Okay, well said. Let's go to DraftKings again. I don't know if there's anything wildly different, TJ, or if
Bryce Moss in chat says, so no Halliburton with Siakam in, huh? I said Halliburton was my favorite guard spend up on the slate.
Oh, okay.
My number one guard spend up.
Yeah. You want to talk about DK real quick? Is it any different from FanDuel, or do you feel it's already covered?
Yeah, a little bit different. I'll go through it super quick though.
Sure.
At the guard position, Javon Carter, he is starting. He is a lock button. I'm playing him in maybe if not a firm lock button, I have him in 81% of my lineups right now. Darius Garland or Ty Jerome. Again, I want at least one. I'm okay with both, but I want at least one Cleveland point guard in every single lineup today. And then I really like the idea of getting overweight on SGA, Tyrese Halliburton, and Luka Doncic as spend ups over there. Shooting guard, you have Dalen Terry, who is confirmed in the starting lineup for the Bulls. He is another guy that I'm just planning on pretty much locking in from a single entry, 3-entry max perspective. And then for 150, I'm going to have him in over half of my lineups. Taylor Horton-Tucker is still viable coming off the bench. Sam Merrill is viable in case that turns into a blowout. And then you have the Whiteheads, the Beekmans at your guard position as well. Small forward, again, Dalen Terry has some has small forward eligibility. Franz Wagner is looking like he's going to be pretty chalky in the mids here, but I really like spending all the way up for LeBron James in the last game of the slate. And then some OG and some Mikal Bridges, some Josh Hart. I am getting to those New York guys as well. Power forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Evan Mobley. I have 50% of both of those players today. We have so much value. There's no reason not to spend up for Giannis tonight. And so Mobley and Giannis are my two favorites by far. And then I do want to get to some Matas Buzelis. I'll be underweight on Paolo Banchero so I can get over on LeBron and Giannis tonight, and LeBron, Giannis, and Mobley. Finally, center position. I want one of Jalen Smith and Zach Collins in every single lineup. Even okay with playing both, because while on FanDuel, Zach Collins is $5K. He is $3,300 or $3,500 on DraftKings. And so you can play Smith and Collins together, but Smith is the priority. And if you don't have him, you need Collins. So at least one bull center. Other guys I like in tournaments: Jared Allen, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, Zach Edey, Yves Missi, Alexander Sarr.
Good stuff. That was lightning round right there, guys. We have about 6 minutes until lock. Cheese, if you'd like, you can come on off the mute, and we can start taking some real questions. You don't have to type anymore.
But wait, I got one more to type.
Oh, you're half. You're half.
I'm halfway done. Let me go.
Type it. Go ahead.
Listen to me type. I can't type as loud as Cardi. I wish I could. That's like, it takes a while. Boom. Done. Ask the questions. I'll answer them.
Okay. Well, Beekman. I didn't. Okay, there it is. All
Beekman
right.
And Misner.
There you go. Hey, Aaron says, Cheese, Mangum or Misner for Tampa Bay regarding salary, because they. Oh, you. That's the one you answered. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You're just going for salary there, so just go with the cheaper one.
Yep. Okay. Minutes projection for Collins, TJ.
I will see right now if we have had an update yet, because
27.
The four, like we had, I don't think we've had anything change last I saw since Jalen Smith got entered into the starting lineup, but
it's a good guess.
Zach Collins down to 21 and Jalen Smith up to 26.
Just strong disagree.
Yeah,
so like
Jalen Smith thinks it's 27.
For reference, Roth, like, you know how I said, like Jalen Smith, you play in every lineup on FanDuel. On DraftKings, you play one of Collins or Smith. Jalen Smith is minimum price, projecting for 38 fantasy points.
I mean, that's the hardest lock I've ever locked. Yeah, I get it. Padres lineup is in Cheese. It is Tatis, Arias, Machado, Bogarts, Gurriel, Cronenworth, someone I don't know, Lockridge, and Maldonado.
Yeah, so we were waiting for that because that is confirmed. No Jackson Merrill, which is what I thought. So
okay,
I don't think anyone had him in, but if by chance you did, now you got some money left.
Okay, it was Iglesias, the name that I couldn't quite get my brain to figure out there. Okay, let's see. Any Ant, TJ? You got any Ant?
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Very fine tournament spend up. I like Halliburton better, though, in a similar range.
Okay. Cheese got a baseball question from Kid Kobe. Adames, Chapman, Ramos, or Rodriguez, Raleigh, Dylan Moore? It's a FanDuel question.
The Giants. Adames, Chapman, Ramos.
Okay. We'll go to Black Main. He says, Cheese, FanDuel, GPP, Machado, Tatis, or Soderstrom, Butler?
That's Machado Tatis for me.
Okay. TJ, got a question for you from Test. Ant or Halliburton, DKGPP? You said Halliburton was your favorite. Spend up at that spot.
Yeah, Halliburton for sure.
Mm-hmm. FanDuel Cash. This is a TJer. 3v3. Let's see. FanDuel Cash and single entry. Paolo, Mobley, Patrick Williams, or Terry, Giannis, Sarr?
I think I'd go the second one.
Okay. Cheese Jim says, since Ohapi is out, do we replace him with Darno?
I mean, assuming it was some sort of angel stack, I mean, then yes. If it was just as a one-off, not necessarily. Like, it's fine, but not necessarily.
Yeah. Aaron says, most concerning weather you would fade. None. There's none. Yeah, it should be fine. Cheese, I don't think you've gotten to some of these here. DK single entry, Trout, Soler, or Carroll Bryant?
Carroll Bryant. I suppose Trout is super interesting. Just like anytime he's at no ownership, like I do like Trout, but the Carroll side is better.
Yeah. TJ, you want a baseball question?
Sure.
All right. From Stardog, right-handed bats against Corbin for a little stack.
Absolutely love the Cubs tonight.
Nice. Hoops question, TJ. Rick says, Wagner Mobley or Giannis Sarr, DK Cash?
Wagner Mobley.
TJ, this is a specific to you question. How good will the new Superman movie be?
Footage that's been released so far looks really good. We haven't had a good Superman movie either, if not in my lifetime, since I was a little kid. So I'm looking forward to somebody who understands the character doing a good job with it.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, thoughts on a Texas stack versus Tyon?
Yeah, they're on the board. They're not like in like a top 5, but they're very much in play. Lean towards lefties, but yeah, that's playable.
Okay. Javier says, TJ, I want to confirm we can play Collins and Smith together on DK, please and thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. Jake says, Cheese, I've got a DK risk-free home run bet today. Who are we most confident will hit a home run?
Before he answers that, I would want to say quickly, if it's a risk-free bet, don't you want someone who's a bit sneakier at higher odds since you're getting it back anyways, as opposed to somebody that is close? No one's a sure thing to home run, but as opposed to somebody closer to a sure thing. If it's risk-free, I feel like you want a risky one.
Well, let's give one of each. Cheese.
Yeah, so just first answer, like, please keep in mind, I know nothing of betting odds for anything. So I'm really not actually the person to ask these questions. I will answer, but like, I would not personally take my advice on this kind of thing because I don't even know what odds are or what they mean. And like,
I guess that's why
guy, not a betting guy.
That's why Cheese is the guy to answer. Like, odds aside, who are you most confident hits a home run?
Gunnar Henderson.
Nice. Okay. TJ, odds included. Who's your favorite?
Depending on the sites, I think it's Brandon Lau because you can still find him for over plus 400 some places.
Very good. Okay. Cheese, DK GVP, a Rays stack or an O's stack?
I mean, the Orioles are both TJ and I's favorite. I think they're chalkier, but I mean, still, I would go that way.
Okay. Tech9 says it's leaving 1,700 on the table too much today. I don't know what sport it is, so both of you get to answer. Cheese?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. A lot of days I don't mind it, but
the pitchers
you can definitely use it today. Yeah. And even with hitters, like I don't have any with nearly that much left. I would be stunned if you can't do something with it.
TJ, I'm thinking maybe in basketball, maybe it's not crazy. I don't know. Is it crazy?
I still don't ever do that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. It was a baseball question. We have hit the lock. Javier says, I'm curious to know how Cheese got into daily fantasy without ever betting. Let's close it out on that.
From playing season-long fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, I started playing DFS before anyone had ever heard of it, way before FanDuel or DraftKings existed. And it was because I was playing season-long fantasy.
Right. You were playing fantasy, like wake up in the morning, look at the newspaper, right?
Yeah. And then pretty excited about when dial-up internet came and we could check the box scores every few hours with the with the beeps going on.
It's huge. Yeah. So that's it. And then is sports betting legal in Alabama?
No. So that's why I haven't even gotten into it now. I don't even know if I would, but yeah, I truly don't even know what the odds are on any day. And even if I did, I wouldn't know what to do with them.
Yep. Okay. Good stuff. Hey, with that, we've hit lock. I think we're going to bounce on out of here. Make sure you hit us with that little thumbs up on your way out. We would appreciate it. For TJ, for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been